the only museum worldwide that has this very significant and extensive collection of Cold War materials from socialist countries. And whereas most existing Cold War museums focus on political history or military history, we really focus on art, culture, and objects from daily life. We have around 100,000 unique objects. You learn a lot about how people in those dire circumstances of political repression were still able to communicate with each other, to be expressive, to convey their messages, and to make sense of their lives, to give meaning to their lives.
This is part of a project called Future IDs, which takes formerly incarcerated individuals and has them design sort of IDs of what they would like to be seen as, what their future goals are. So they're not always defined by being prisoners, but they're defined by what they want to be and what they aspire to be. That connects with our exhibition of art from Soviet prisoners as well. So there's kind of a comparative and contrast element to that, where you're looking at both American and Soviet prisoners and the art that they've created in these circumstances. These are carved by an artist called Gil Batal, and he was able to get these ostrich eggs that he carved scenes from his life into, so that they kind of capture the fact that he was in prison, but in a way the egg communicates that, you know, there's still a lot of potential there. The egg symbolizes potentiality and becoming. He was able to do these really intricate and beautiful carvings on these ostrich eggs. So this is the most delicate thing we have exhibited right now. We provide these magnifying glass because the detail is so fine that you have to kind of use this to see. And this is showing the period of his life where he was working as a forger, creating fake checks, actually. So it's something where you wouldn't necessarily expect it to see criminal activity like this illustrated in such a detailed and intricate manner, but it's very beautiful.
I think, first of all, what is special about this museum is that it shows that people are people. So whatever the circumstances, whatever the ideology, the political system, people always try to make sense of their lives, and they have an incredible resilience and creativity to make that happen. And it's important for us to show these connections and to show that history is not something isolated, but is very much relevant for the here and now.
So this vibrant painting is actually by Leonid Lam, who was imprisoned in the Soviet Union for several years. And it shows the exercise that him and his fellow prisoners would get. So they were allowed in this outside area where they're kind of in a hole with a cage above them, and they just walk in circles. And that was all the exercise and outside experience that they were able to get during their imprisonment. And you can see the menacing guard looking down upon them. This piece was actually originally a watercolor that he created in the 70s when he was first out of prison. But then many years later, in 2016, he decided to recreate it because the image always stuck with him.
In repressive regimes, art means sometimes so much more because it's the only way for people to express themselves. Art is really able in those situations to create a community.
This hall features a lot of our permanent collection in open storage so that people can just see. It's kind of broken up thematically. So this one's theme is the space race, and so these are various mostly Soviet kitschy knickknacks. For example, this CCCP, which is the Soviet Union little moon cars, a toy for kids. There's this game, this sort of race to the moon game here, and it features Belka and Strelka, which are the first animals that went into space and survived their return. So these were the Soviet space dogs, and they actually, one of them had puppies that Khrushchev gave to John F. Kennedy. And then even in the 70s, those puppies had grand puppies. And so for many generations on, their Kennedy family owned these space dogs' descendants. And so there's still descendants of the space dogs around today. This is our garden. So this does include some sculptures. For example, here we have Yuri Gagarin, the first person in space, the original cosmonaut. Over there we have a East German guardhouse that's from the East German news agency, and then we've turned it into a sort of pop-up art show. So we cycle through different artists every 6 months or so. We have a lot of our events out here. And then next door, you can see we're building this brand new Gloria Kaufman Creative Community Center, which is going to be a wonderful space for the community to come together and enjoy art, theater, live music. There's going to be a black box theater that seats around 90 people in the original A-frame, which is actually from the MGM prop house that was built back in the 30s for storing props for stuff like Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz. The Wende Museum is all about open access, being free. All our programs are free. All of our exhibitions are free. And everything that we present in this new space will also be free so that the community can come and take part. It's so important that we're supported by LA County and other groups in the community, because that enables us to reach this community and provide all these programs and exhibitions for free that everyone can access and enlighten and improve their lives. Wende is a word that means change in German, and so we're all about understanding both historical change and the way that the world is changing today. And by making the museum free, the county's support enables us to provide a resource to the whole community to understand change.
It's very, very important for us, and actually a lifeline, to get community support. Inclusive LA County makes it possible to do what we think is important to convey here.